Hi, my name is Kathleen Hamilton, and I'm the author of Terralepus and the book series. And today I'm going to talk about Terralepus Song of the Siren, which is illustrated by Christine Hamilton. Alright. Sapphire turned around to see who was singing to her, but every time she did, the figure stepped behind her. "Let me see you, please. You have a gorgeous voice." "I can't." "Why not?" she replied. "I'm under a spell," the voice replied. "What type of spell?" she asked. "You cannot see me," the voice replied. "How can I help you break the spell?" asked Sapphire. "Finish the quest of Queen Rosetta, and you will help free me from the spell." Every night the invisible being would visit Sapphire in her dreams. She promised to help free him and slowly found him falling in love with her. But her love for Dante, her mute friend of years, overflowed from her heart. How could she free the voice without breaking his heart? Alright, so in this story, Harvey Hounsell, the son of wealthy parents, decides to pursue Lilly. Love Siren, a rock group of rabbits, is a cover for the cupids from Cirrocumulus, who come searching for Cupid. Cupid and his family adopt Octavius, Cupid's grandmother's ex-boyfriend. And planet Marcidus attacks Terralepus, and President Cedric Wolfgang formally announces the formation of the Universe Defenders. Alright, I'm going to read chapter 5. Lilly leaned into Thomas's closet and pulled out several shirts and pants. She laid them on the bed next to Orion. "I think these will work," she said to him. Orion held one shirt up to his chest. "Go ahead, Orion, try them on." "And your brother will not mind?" he asked as he slipped off his shirt and tried Thomas's shirt on. "No, I've already talked to him and he's okay with you borrowing his stuff." Lilly stood next to Orion and studied him. "Try these pants with that shirt." Lilly turned and faced the closet while Orion changed. "What do you think?" Lilly turned around. "I think you look wonderful." Orion smiled and looked into the dresser mirror as Lilly collected the shirts and pants to hang back in the closet. At that moment, Cupid tapped on Thomas's door and walked in. He nodded his approval to Orion. "Are you ready, Lilly?" asked Cupid. Lilly turned and looked at him. "No, I need to find something." She left Thomas's room and headed to her room and shut the door. She came out moments later in a V-neck shirt and jeans with her hair hanging down. "I'm ready," she said. The three of them headed down the stairs. "I'll be back, Mom," called Lilly. "We're going to a party." "A birthday party?" asked Jackie. "No, it's a because your mom and dad are out of town house party," replied Lilly. "See you later, Mom." Out the door the three went until Jackie caught Cupid's arm as he went out the door. "What are you three getting involved in?" she asked him. "One of the guys at school asked her to come to a party, and she asked for the two of us to go with her," said Cupid. Jackie put her paws on her hips. "It sounds like it was going to be a one-person party to me," she said to Cupid. "I don't like hearing that his parents are not going to be there." Jackie looked at Cupid. "Please take care of her and don't let her out of your sight. Be safe, Cupid." "I will," he replied. Cupid headed out to his truck and got in. "What was that about?" asked Lilly. "Your mom was just concerned, that's all," replied Cupid as he backed out onto the road. They headed out towards the other side of town and soon pulled in front of a huge house. The three of them stared. A multitude of cars were parked in front, and a few teenagers milled in front of the house. Cupid parked his truck and they headed toward the house. Cupid grabbed Lilly's paw. The huge brick house was surrounded by bushes and flower gardens. A fountain stood in front of the house, spewing water from a jar, being held by a strange-looking creature. Cupid, Lilly, and Orion walked up to the front door. A servant opened the door and they walked in. "Wow," said Orion, looking up at the high vault ceilings and the beige and maroon walls of the room. Several teenagers were milling around inside. Lilly Lily, said Harvey as he walked over. I'm glad you could make it. He grabbed Lily's free paw as he spoke. Hello, Harvey, replied Lily. Let me show you around, he said, slipping his arm into hers and pulling her over to a table with Cupid in tow. We have plenty of food, video games, and of course you could lounge by the pool if you want. Lily, Cupid, and Orion stared out the window at the Olympic-sized pool. Nice pool, said Lily, but I think my grandparents have you beat. Really? Replied Harvey. Oh, theirs is twice as big, she replied. Maybe you could invite me over for a swim in their pool, said Harvey. Orion watched Cupid as his eyebrows lowered. Oh, the pool is closed now, replied Lily. Once school starts, they get it cleaned and covered. Oh, what a shame, replied Harvey. It sounded magnificent. It is, she replied. Harvey turned and looked towards his front door. Oh, I have to welcome my guest. I'll be back in a moment. Harvey headed toward the front door and Lily grabbed Orion by the arm. Come on, guys, the food table is calling us, she said. Must you have the grubbies right now? Asked Cupid. Look, he's willing to pass out the free food. I say we eat and enjoy. Come on, it's a party. Lily walked Cupid and Orion over to the table. They looked at a variety of small food items. These actually look pretty good, said Orion. Lily passed him a plate. Load it up, Orion, she said with a grin. Lily, fussed Cupid quietly. Lily turned and passed Cupid a plate. Relax, honey, she said, as she picked up her plate and started to load it with food. Cupid grudgingly followed Lily and started to put food on his plate. She was going to outgrow him, he thought. He would be looking up at her all right. Come on, honey bunny, said Lily to Cupid. You need to eat something. She put some cut sandwiches on his plate. That's more than enough, fussed Cupid. The three of them headed over to a table and sat down. A general cry rose from a rabbit, and Cupid looked up. He saw Sapphire walk into the room with Dante, followed by Brianna, Fauna, and Casimia. Well, look at that, said Cupid. Love Siren has entered the building. They watched as a group of teenagers surrounded the musicians. Lily stared over in their direction as she popped a strawberry in her mouth. After a while, the teens dissipated and the musicians were able to move around. Sapphire walked Dante over to the table and they grabbed their plates, filling them up. They looked around and spotted Cupid. Hi, is anyone sitting here? Asked Sapphire. Lily looked up and screamed until Cupid quickly covered her mouth. Sorry about that, he said. You're more than welcome to join us. Sapphire and Dante sat down. So, how did Mr. Hounsell talk you into coming? Asked Sapphire to Cupid. He actually asked my girlfriend, and she brought the two of us with her, replied Cupid. I heard he had to pull strings to get us here, said Sapphire. Brianna didn't want to come until she heard there was a pool available. Hi, everyone, said Brianna as she and Fauna joined them. Cupid covered Lily's mouth until she calmed down. Casimia sat down next to Orion and looked at him with a smile. Girls, said Sapphire, this is Cupid. He sold Dante's bracelet to me. Cupid, said Casimia. That's really your name? Yes, replied Cupid. My parents chose that name for me. Casimia looked at Brianna and Fauna. You don't think. The three of them stared at Cupid. Yes, I do, replied Brianna. He has the necklace. She leaned over and looked at Cupid's waist. He has the bag. Cupid's eyes widened. He just doesn't have the wings, finished Brianna. Lily looked at Cupid and grinned. His face was turning a shade of red as the young woman stared at him. Look in his bag, said Sapphire as she bit down on her sandwich. Cupid watched as Casimia reached into his bag and pulled out the bow. I think we have our Cupid, she replied, plucking the string on the bow. Now, just a second, said Cupid, grabbing his bow and sliding it back into his bag. Ooh, how did you do that? The young woman smiled at Cupid. You have to be a Cupid to do that, replied Fauna. Cupid leaned forward. Wait a minute. Victoria said there were no more Cupids and that I was the last one. She would say something like that, replied Casimia. She was devious, and she grew angry before she was imprisoned. You imprisoned Cupids? Asked Cupid. No, their own hatred imprisons them, replied Casimia. So, you didn't get any wings? Oh, I have them all right. They're tucked away right now, he replied. Where's your wings? Casimia chuckled. Ours are tucked away as well. How are we doing? Asked Harvey, as he pulled up a chair and joined the group. We're doing wonderful, replied Fauna. In fact, we were going to ask Cupid and his friends to join us after the party so we could talk some more. Fauna looked at Cupid and he nodded yes. Good. Harvey looked over at Lilly. Would you like a tour of my house? That would be interesting, replied Lilly. Harvey walked over to her and put his arm out. I'll be back, honey, she said, before putting her arm through his. They walked off. Orion stood up. I do not trust him. He followed Lilly and Harvey. Cupid watched Orion leave and sighed. Don't worry, she has a strong will and a strong love for you, said Sapphire. I can see it. Cupid nodded. Come on, said Casimia to Cupid. The pool is open. Let's swim. I don't have swimming trunks, replied Cupid. Who needs swimming trunks, replied Casimia. Just jump in like you are. Harvey's not going to like it, said Cupid. He's not going to say anything if you hang with us, replied Casimia. He thinks we're rich. And you're not, said Cupid. Oh, we are, she replied. We just don't act like snobs. Cupid chuckled as Casimia pulled him outside. He kicked his shoes and socks off and dropped his shirt next to them. He took his bag off and placed his cell phone inside of it. Here goes nothing, he said. He jumped into the pool next to Brianna, who had come prepared with a bathing suit. The rest of the musicians joined him in the pool. Harvey and Lilly stepped into the hallway. Pictures of family and pictures of nature lined the hallway. An occasional cushioned seat sat in the hallway. Lilly peeked into each room as Harvey stood next to her. This is insanely huge, she said, with each room that she peered into. Why do your parents need so many rooms? For guests mainly, replied Harvey. They like to entertain and throw parties once in a while, and sometimes guests stay overnight. They headed back down the hall and walked through the kitchen. My parents don't allow me to enter the kitchen, said Harvey. They're afraid that the kitchen help will be a bad influence on me. Lilly gave Harvey a funny look. She grabbed a bowl off of the counter and a long plastic mixing spoon. She placed the bowl on her head and pointed the spoon at him. Arg, matey, I challenge you to a duel, she said. Harvey stared at her for a moment before looking around and grabbing a spoon. Challenge accepted, matey, he replied with a grin. They swung their spoons and clicked them together as they tried to sword fight. The chefs and the waiter stopped working and turned to watch. They cheered the teenagers on. Back and forth they hit their spoons until Lily's dropped from her paw. Arg, you have defeated me, she replied, taking a bow and catching the bowl as it fell from her head. She laughed and placed the spoon and bowl back on the counter. The kitchen staff cheered and clapped for the two, and then they headed back out towards the party. I should show you the basement room, said Harvey thoughtfully. I think you would like them. What's down there? Asked Lilly. A game room, bowling alley, and a movie theater. Really? Replied Lilly. Harvey nodded his head. Lilly looked over toward the window and saw everyone outside. Everyone except Orion. She turned around and soon found him standing at the food table grabbing a strawberry. Come on, said Harvey. He pulled Lilly along, and Orion followed behind them. Down the stairs they headed and into a hallway. Lilly peeked into a room to see the bowling alley. Oh, this is neat, she said out loud to herself. She headed down to the next room and looked inside. Oh, she exclaimed, I'll bet your friends enjoy this. I don't have any friends over, he replied. Mom and Dad would think they were a bad influence on me. Lilly turned to Harvey. How old are you, Harvey? She asked. 17, he replied. Old enough to know better, replied Lilly, and old enough to have friends. Lilly wandered into the game room. A multitude of table games were spread out around the room. Lilly walked over to the pool table and pulled out the balls, placing them on top of the table. This looks like fun, she said. Harvey walked up behind her and put his arms around her waist. Yes, it does, he whispered to her. Lily froze, and Harvey leaned over and kissed her cheek. She pulled his paws away from her waist. "What are you doing?" Harvey wrapped his arms around her, pinning her arms to her side. She wiggled her arms free and pushed him away. "Leave me alone, Harvey." "Well, come on, Lily. You know you want to kiss me," said Harvey, grabbing her once more. Lily squirmed in his grasp. "Ow!" howled Harvey in surprise, as Orion grabbed him by the hair and pulled. Harvey let go of Lily, and Orion took a swing at him. Harvey tumbled backwards, and Orion grabbed Lily by the paw and ran. Down the hall and up the stairs they went. They reached the main room and headed outside where Cupid was swimming. Cupid looked up. "What happened?" he asked in concern, as he saw Lily and Orion run over. "Harvey," gasped Orion. He would not let go of Lily. Cupid climbed out of the pool, and Lily hugged him and cried. "Harvey was trying to kiss Lily," said Orion. "I think he was going to hurt her." A look of shame crossed Cupid's face. He had promised Lily's mother that he would look after her, and he did not. "I'm so sorry, Lily," he said. He looked up at Orion. "Thank you." Orion nodded and turned to see Harvey standing there. "Hey, is she okay?" he asked, acting surprised. "No, she is not," said Orion, taking a step toward Harvey. "Keep your paws off of her." "What?" replied Harvey. "What are you saying, pincushion?" Orion took another step toward Harvey. "That's enough, Harvey," said Cupid in an angry voice. "Oh, you're going to come into my house and tell me what to do?" said Harvey, pointing his finger at himself. "I don't think so. And I don't think you'll do anything to me because I've got enough money to get me out of trouble, but you—" Harvey walked over to Cupid and poked him with his finger. "You've got nothing." Lily turned around and stared at Harvey. "Leave Cupid alone," she growled. "That's right. Protect your little boyfriend," he taunted. A crowd of teens was now gathered around them. Lily started to float and glow, the power building up in the palms of her paws. "Wait. You're that weirdo that can fly," said Harvey. "You're worthless to me, you flying freak of nature." A moment later, a mob of teenagers rushed out of Harvey's house and scattered, screaming in terror as a huge flash of light illuminated near the pool. Harvey ran into the kitchen to hide. Orion peeked out from inside the house. A huge burn mark lay on the cement near the pool where Lily stood. Cupid's hair stood on end as he had tried to hold on to Lily and stop her. "I think we'd better go, Cupid," said Orion. "Well, that's the end of my pool time," said Brianna to the band members. "Let's go back to the hotel." Orion gathered up Cupid's things and headed out to Cupid's truck. A moment later, Lily and Cupid stepped outside. Cupid got into the truck and looked at Orion. "Reach in that bag and get my keys, please." Orion passed him the keys, and he started the truck and headed back to Lily's house. All the way back to the house, the ride was quiet, except for the occasional sniffle from Lily. Orion looked over and saw Cupid shed a tear once in a while. When the truck pulled in Lily's driveway, Cupid looked over at Orion. "Hey, listen, thank you, Orion," said Cupid quietly. "If you want to go in and get changed, I need to talk to Lily." Orion nodded before stepping out of the truck. Cupid looked over at Lily. "I'm sorry," he said to Lily. "I should have stayed by your side. It was my fault. I thought you would be safe in a house full of rabbits." Lily wiped a tear away with her paw. "You didn't know, neither did I." Cupid looked down at the floor. "I'm not worthy enough for you, Lily." Lily looked over at Cupid. "I failed you." Cupid put his paw over his forehead and sat still for a moment. "Cupid, I need you," said Lily quietly. Cupid looked over at Lily. She had her arms wrapped around herself and she was looking at the floor. "Oh, Lily." Cupid put his arms around her and held on while she leaned against his chest. They quietly sat in the truck and watched as Orion stepped out of the house. He looked at the two of them and stopped. Orion opened the passenger side door and leaned in. "I know you both feel bad," he started, "but remember this. It is not your fault, it is Harvey's. You both are strong even when you feel weak, and we are all a little weird. I have never met a normal person yet, so please forgive yourselves and move on because tomorrow is going to be better." Lilly wiped away a tear and leaned over to give Orion a hug. Thanks, Orion. You're a great friend. Orion nodded and headed over to his bicycle. He wished he was more than a friend, but yet was glad to be her friend. Orion jumped onto his bicycle and pedaled home. Alright, well, this book and all my other books are available at Amazon.com, and you can go to my website, www.terralepus.com, and check out all the books there. Terralepus is also available on Facebook, so if you want to go check out that page, go for it. Anyway, take care, and I will see you in the stars.